Hello and good day. Welcome to our video channel, God's Promises. And today's video will be Psalm 107. Let's get started now. Psalm 107 is a powerful psalm of thanksgiving and praise to God for His steadfast love and faithfulness. It is a call to all who have experienced the grace and mercy of God to give thanks and proclaim His goodness. The psalm is structured around 4 different scenarios in which people find themselves in distress and cry out to God for help. In each case, God hears their cries and delivers them from their trouble. The first scenario is that of those who have wandered in the desert, lost and without food or water. In verses 4 to 9, the psalmist describes how God heard their cries and led them to a place of safety, where they could build a home and plant crops. This section reminds us that God is our provider and sustainer, even in the most barren and desolate places. The second scenario is that of those who have been imprisoned and enslaved, as described in verses 10 to 16. In this section, the psalmist tells how God breaks the chains of those who are bound and sets them free. This reminds us that God is our liberator and redeemer, who sets us free from the bondage of sin and death. The third scenario is that of those who are sick and dying, as described in verses 17 to 22. In this section, the psalmist tells how God heals the sick and restores them to health. This reminds us that God is our healer, who restores us to wholeness and strength. The fourth and final scenario is that of those who are caught in a storm at sea, as described in verses 23 to 32. In this section, the psalmist tells how God calms the storm and brings the sailors to safety. This reminds us that God is our protector and defender, who keeps us safe even in the midst of the most violent and turbulent storms of life. The psalm concludes with a call to all who have experienced the goodness of God to give thanks and praise to Him. In verse 43, the psalmist says, "Whoever is wise, let him heed these things and consider the great love of the Lord." The teaching application of Psalm 107 is that no matter what circumstances we find ourselves in, we can always cry out to God for help, and He will hear us and deliver us from our trouble. This psalm reminds us that God is faithful and steadfast in His love for us, and that He is always ready to come to our aid when we call upon Him. Furthermore, this psalm reminds us that God is the source of all our blessings and that we should always give thanks and praise to Him for His goodness and mercy. It teaches us to be grateful for all the ways in which God has provided for us, liberated us, healed us, and protected us throughout our lives. In summary, Psalm 107 is a powerful reminder of God's goodness and faithfulness, and a call to all who have experienced His grace and mercy to give thanks and praise to Him. It teaches us to trust in God in all circumstances and to be grateful for all the blessings He has bestowed upon us. Thank you for visiting us today. Please share with us your favorite Bible verse below in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help our channel grow. Looking forward to see you back here for our next video. Always take good care.